Hello, Oswego. My name is Dane Richardson, and welcome back to the Dean and Dane Show. Our purpose for this series is to highlight and discuss various topics and unique opportunities within the Oswego City School District, as well as to get younger students within our district involved in the WVUC TV program. As always, we are joined here today by Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Dean Guai. Thank you for coming in again.
It's a pleasure.
So, Dr. Guai, school safety and security has been an issue of national discussion since the tragic shooting in Parkland, Florida, and Oswego has certainly been part of that. Can you discuss with us what our district is doing to address concerns of students and parents?
Yes. It's interesting because we had been working to build partnerships with local law enforcement and first responders even before the Parkland shooting. But immediately after that, we held a panel where we invited the fire chief and a representative of the OPD to come in to our administrative council and have an open dialogue conversation about the things that we have in place already in our district and how can we enhance the safety and security in our 7 schools, including the education center, and do a better job. So as a result of that, I commissioned a subcommittee on school safety and security, which is being chaired by Mrs. Mary Beth Fierro, the principal of Oswego Middle School. And that has a host of stakeholders that have been meeting on recommendations. But we haven't waited for those recommendations. We've been working toward implementing some other things.
And that sounds awesome. And one of the things that stood out to me after that tragic Parkland, Florida shooting, we had 2 students, I believe, Leah Mullen and Emily Bradshaw. They spoke at that assembly, and I thought that was awesome that students came out and voiced themselves.
That was a great example of how students took the lead in responding to something in a really responsible and mature way. As you know, as you referenced, we hosted an assembly as an alternative, a safe alternative to that walkout movement. And the 2 ladies that you referenced did a great job of bringing their ideas to Mr. Wallace. He brought those to me, and it was a great example of students having a voice and also inviting the undersheriff, Mr. Sullivan, in to give some motivational talk to students, and also to have a moment of respect for those that were lost in that shooting. So just bringing a greater sense of awareness for students and staff about the potential for things like that happening. Because we as a school community really are our best resource. When we see or hear something, we have to tell someone about it. And we had a great example of that this fall. There was something posted on social media. A teacher from another district saw that posting, told their principal called our district, and we went into lockout until the police were able to do their investigation and apprehend that student. So what a great broader school community partnership that illustrated, and we have to have more of that.
And you've seen that all around the country where you see now more people are more aware of threats on social media and reporting that to schools, which is awesome, including obviously here in Oswego. Now, I know there is some work scheduled at the high school starting soon and lasting throughout the summer. Will there be any safety upgrades included in this project?
Absolutely, and what you're referencing to is the small capital project that was approved by the voters a year ago that is going to provide a brand new main office suite for Oswego High School. What we've done since the Parkland shooting is we've revisited the plans for that, and we've created a new main entrance, which is the handicap accessible door to the left of the theater entrance. That will become the new Oswego High School main entrance. We're going to create a system there where a visitor has to be buzzed into a capsule, and they would not be permitted beyond that vestibule area into the main school, and instead will be funneled into a new door directly into the main office where they will interact with staff. So right now, when a visitor comes to our school, they buzz at the Oswego High School, which is the only school that we really don't have a fully secure access right now. They identify themselves, and they're buzzed in from that security desk just inside the lobby. But then they're in the school. So what we're trying to create is a way to funnel them directly into an office, which is the system we have in the other 6 schools. So now when they buzz in, they'll be in a vestibule area, they'll identify themselves, they'll come directly into the main office, and then when they have business, they'll be escorted to where that business is. But it leads to another initiative, which is a very big initiative that is connected to that. So you might ask, well, you know, they come in, they say who they are, but do we really know who these visitors are, that they're supposed to be going to where they say they're going. We've purchased a new system that is going to be implemented over the next 2 weeks. It's called the Raptor system.
Okay.
The Raptor system is similar to what you see in other municipal buildings and in some school districts around the country, as well as hospitals, for example. A visitor to the school will now be required to produce either a driver's license or some other valid government-issued identification.
Okay.
The receiver, the secretary, or whoever receives that visitor, inserts that ID into a piece of hardware.
Make sure it's valid.
And not only does it identify the validity of the identification, they can check it visually to see if that person matches the photo ID. It also has the capacity to run a background check on that person instantly to see if there's any criminal convictions or if that person happens to be on a sexual abuse list. If everything is clear, then it produces a sticker identification with a picture, the person's name, and where they're going, and it goes on them. And they don't leave the main office until that identification is in place.
Is Oswego becoming a leader around Central New York involving this kind of program, the identification and validity of it?
I like that question because I actually believe that we were already a leader. Because in our 2010 capital project, our district put in single points of entry lockdown systems in 6 of our 7 schools. So our 5 elementary schools and the Oswego Middle School already have a single point of entry where you have to get buzzed in and you only can get to the office. It's one of our highest priority items, as it always has been, but we're going to invest into increasing and enhancing our safety and security, not only with the Raptor system, but we're also implementing a swipe card system at the new education center across the street. As you might recall, when we talked about that construction, we entered an alarmed door system at the end of the hall of the new ed center. So if anyone broaches that doorway, an alarm goes off, alerting us that someone is going through those doors into the school.
Okay.
Well, now I think we've been reflective and we realize that that's just not enough. So we're going to lock down the education center just like the other 7 schools are locked down. Someone will have to buzz in. A secretary in the superintendent's office will ask them to identify themselves and the purpose for their visit, and then and only then will they be allowed into the building.
Can you walk me through a parent's view of what they're supposed to expect when they go through there?
Good question. After the renovations are completed, we've received state ed approval, and now we're going out to bid for the contracting. You've already noticed probably some changes in the lobby. Things are being removed because we're getting ready for that construction. They'll buzz. A clerical staff from the office will ask them what their business is, why are they here, and who they are. They'll give some initial identification of who they are. I'm a parent, I'm here to pick up my son and the nurse. They will be buzzed into the vestibule, which only will allow them then to take a right and enter into the new main office. There's a wall there currently. They'll come in, they'll be greeted by someone. That secretary will ask them for a photo ID, and they will be required to generate a photo ID, and we'll be communicating that to our school community very shortly about the new requirements so that people come prepared.
Now, I understand we have a school subcommittee now for school safety and security. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, that's a subcommittee that I asked to be started immediately after the Parkland shooting. That's a committee that has an elementary principal, middle school principal, high school principal, executive directors from central office. Sometimes we invite law enforcement and first responders in to provide insight. They're going to generate a list of ideas and enhancements for how we can do educational programs in our schools with students, that next level of being prepared. But also they're going to generate some unique ideas. One unique idea that already came out that we likely will implement is a blue light system.
Right.
We're going to implement a blue light on near the main entrance of each of our 7 schools. Anytime that we're in a lockdown, the blue light would light. That's a notification to community and parents to stay away, that there's something going on and you should not approach the school. It also alerts law enforcement that something is going on. So it's something that's immediate and can be viewed from the outside of the building.
So Dr. Guar, there's a lot of new information for parents involving school safety. What's main message you would like to relay to them involving school safety?
I think that really school safety and security has always been a top priority. And many school districts say that, and I think it's always a superintendent's top priority. But Joe Biden once said, "Don't talk to me about your priorities, show me your budget." And I think that we're going to be showing over the next several months that we're taking it very seriously. I've communicated with parents quite frequently through automated messages about the things that we're doing. This is a perfect example of how communication is our priority in this district, and parents can continue to expect a lot of communication on the things that we're implementing so that their kids can be safe.
So certainly it seems like this district is utilizing technology and communication to improve school safety all around the district, and I think you and your coworkers have done a really good job of it lately.
Thanks, Dane.
So, Dr.
Thank
Duai,
you.
thank you very much. This wraps up another episode of the Dean and Dane Show. We'll see you next month, Oswego.